Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Parkitect. Parkitect is a game that you can find on Steam for about $30. It is 50% off until January 15th, 2024. So if you like what you see here, you can get the game for a lot cheaper. There's also a couple of DLCs, Taste of Adventure, Booms and Blooms. Those are like 33% off. So this is akin to Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, although it's a nicer, prettier version of it. There's a campaign, there's a sandbox, there's a scenario editor. There's even multiplayer, which we haven't tried yet, but apparently you can play co-op on the same map. Now, what do I mean by it's very similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2? Well, honestly, if you haven't played it, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, those were my simulator jams growing up. I absolutely loved them. I have fond memories of, well, it took over my life. Roller Coaster Tycoon, when I discovered it, took over my life. I would sit there for hours micromanaging the perfect theme park. And that's what this game is. It's all about you start off in a sandbox mode. You start off in a blank slate. In a campaign mode, there's multiple levels, and typically you are tasked with doing a thing, getting so many visitors at once in your park, or satisfaction needs to be a certain amount. But typically, yeah, like you are at the wheel and you are trying to make a profit. That's pretty much the boss of this game, is making a profit and also designing an excellent park, so that people will want to stay. And yes, you can adjust prices on almost everything, even bathrooms. That's something I got a kick out of growing up when I was playing this game. I think I was, in college when I first discovered this game. But anyway, yeah, so you can even put prices on the bathroom, like 10 cents, 20 cents to use the bathroom. There are multiple stalls. There's various kinds of rides. There's like thrill rides, calm rides, roller coasters. There's water rides. This game, again, is more akin to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is more like 3D. I mean, 3 is older and has more features than this game. Like in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, you could actually ride the rides, kind of like you can in Planet Coaster. If I had to make any sort of comparison, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is kind of like Planet Coaster, although Planet Coaster is miles ahead graphically. And then Planet Coaster, or Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 1 are like more like this game, Parkitect. But again, this game is much prettier. If you go to the Steam store page of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you'll see that it's very rough around the edges. In fact, good luck getting it to run, because it is a very old game. And you may experience crash to desktops because it's an older game and may not work on your system. Whereas Parkitect is, a couple of years old at this point, I believe. So yeah, actually, I think it was back in 2018. So maybe more like 5 or 6 years. But anyway, I guess like my biggest the reason I keep coming back to this game is because like I love management games, and I love first of all, the whole theme, make your own theme park, is very appealing to me. But I'm like, can I make enough money? Can I can I create a successful business? That's why I create roller coaster parks in this kind of game. Some other people do it because they love decorating. This game will give you a lot of different tools. You can color the queue line. You can color various aspects of a ride. Typically, it opens up a palette, and you can even use a tool dropper, whatever it's called, and it'll copy the colors from another ride that you pick onto that particular ride, and you can adjust the hue almost any which way you want to. So there's a decorating aspect to this, and this game really stresses that. I didn't really care so much about decorating in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, but this game makes it super important because whenever you click on a visitor, it opens up their stats. And I think it's called it's like theme or immersion, something like that. Decoration is big on that, and you actually have to fence off unattractive buildings in order for your people not to see it. So that's a super important thing. But again, coming back to what I like about it, I love the numbers. You can you can not only price the bathrooms and the rides themselves, you can also price the entry fee. So there's a strategy. Do you like make the ticket price entry fee super high and then make everything else cheap? Or do you kind of like make the park entrance free, but then it's like $6 a ride? Do you really have to micromanage if you do that. Back in the day, I used to just flat $35 fee. You get to ride all day for free, something like that. It's much easier to manage, especially when each ride has their own rating system. That's another thing in this game. Every ride has a nausea rating, an intensity rating. It has like an excitement rating. So the rides that you put down will determine typically how much you can charge for it. And yes, there are some rides that you can create manually. Like there's the log flume, for example, that you see on the right side of the screen. You can either use a blueprint. You can even download blueprints from the Steam Workshop. People have uploaded these ideas and these blueprints to the Steam Workshop, so you can download creations made by other people. And if you're one of those creative people, you could totally just sit there in sandbox mode, create something, and upload it. But yeah, I love that. You can lose all day doing something like that. I will admit that this game is a bit of a chill, wait for money to roll in simulator, unless you take out a loan. But I hate that. I have an OCD thing about that. Um, the reason I say that is because, like, once you start running out of money, but you're just turning a small profit because you have enough rides to where people want to keep coming in. So now you're sitting there, okay, $200 a month, okay. But the next ride that I want to build costs $4,000 to $5,000. So yeah, now I gotta wait. So I've watched Netflix, Hulu, or something with this game while it waits. I even let it run for 4 hours so that my money could accumulate, and then I'd come back and I'd have a bunch of money. So just be prepared for a little bit of waiting if you don't want to take out any loans. The most frustrating aspect when I was playing this game was the underground build system. Like I right clicking something, even an underground view, you could accidentally delete something on the surface, which was very frustrating. And it was very difficult to tell. Like I had to connect these pipes. You have the ability to create this underground trash slash supply network where you can put like you could put like a main building down from the entrance has one already. That's where the supplies come in, and then there are like pickup points. And you can surround them with fences so they don't look ugly, but your employees will go over to those places, and so as long as there's pipes connecting them, they don't have to walk from the entrance to the shop. If you put a little depot next to your shops, they just walk from that depot to the shops without really doing a whole lot. And that's important because people actually complain. I don't want to see an employee carrying around these crates. They should be walking somewhere else or something or other. So that's a thing. But that was the hardest thing, was like navigating the underground and figuring out where I am in relation to it and whether or not I have the pipe selected at all, because you can either click and drag, or you can use like the up slope, down slope, right bend, left bend. But typically I never know where I'm at. Like if I misclick somewhere else, now I don't know where my cursor is, so that if I click on build or whatever, like I don't know. It's just confusing. I just think the underground could have worked better. And that's actually one of the same issues I had with the original Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 game when creating like a roller coaster. If you lost your place, when building your roller coaster, you'd have to try and find that sweet spot or click on it so that you can continue it. When you're underground and you could accidentally click on something else, like, it's frustrating. And trying to get them to get to the same level on top of that, it's a nightmare. I wish there was an auto connect feature, like some in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, for example. Might have been 3, but there was a button where you could click it and it would say autocomplete for me or something like that. And it would find the best path, shortest path, whatever, to finish it. I wish there was a button that let me automate those pipes so that I wouldn't have to deal too much with that aspect of it. That's really the only frustrating thing about this game. Everything else is fun. Again, you can put down decorations to keep people happy. You can put employee paths down. And the shops, oh my gosh, I love doing stuff like that. There's pizza shops and chicken shops and soda and yeah, and there's even a day and night cycle. And you can customize the lights for your ride. So when at nighttime, you can see, the rides moving around, and it's fun. You can toggle that freely in Sandbox. I don't know about campaign because I typically never do campaign. I always do Sandbox. And don't worry, in Sandbox, you can play with like a set of money. Like you can I think customize to a limited degree how much money you start with, that kind of thing, so that it's not completely face roll. You still have a business to run, is what I'm saying. But like the sheer number of like blueprints that are there, I will warn you, however, that if you don't have the DLCs and if you don't have the technology unlocked, because there is a technology system, there's a research system, all of that is like, you can't build this particular blueprint because you don't have the DLC. And I couldn't find a filter to get rid of them. Like, I wanted to like filter out the ones that I don't want the DLC blueprints. Can I filter those out? I couldn't find a way to do it. Maybe I just missed it somewhere, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. And that was frustrating. So, this game, like, it's the closest thing I have to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and for that reason, I totally recommend it. And at full price, that's where things starting getting iffy at $30. At 50% off, absolutely. $15, that's a no-brainer. This game will keep you busy for several months. But like Planet Coaster is like $40-50-ish. I don't have the Steam store page up to look at it. It's somewhere around there. So you're looking at Planet Coaster being roughly $10-20 more expensive than this. And it's a 3-dimensional game. You can ride the rides. You can do a lot. So, one may argue, well, I'll just get Planet Coaster, And I totally understand that. Or if you want to go the cheaper route and take your chances, get the $5-10 Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 remaster. There's also the Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 remaster as well. So you could try those for much cheaper. I just don't know if they'll work. But yeah, get this game if you have a lot of nostalgia for Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And you want like an updated, prettier version, like a remake of it, because the interface is the same, the terrain tools are the same. You could extend your lot by buying new land. You could do everything. Even the buttons on the left and on the bottom are the same. So like everything is like for the most part the same. So if you've played 2, then yeah, this is a no-brainer. You definitely want to get this. But if this is your first time in the genre, maybe Planet Coaster might be a bit better if you compare them at full prices. But be warned, Frontier Development, they DLC everything out the wazoo. So I don't know if you really want to support something like that. I typically don't, but it's a thing. So I still recommend this game on a sale for sure. When it gets to full price, Planet Coaster may slightly went up because it has more features, but still, this is a very nostalgic game that it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, check this game out, and I wholeheartedly recommend it on a sale. So get it while you can. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Take care.